Mom told me, Christmas will be adults only, too much chaos with kids. I agreed. Then I saw their photos. Every cousin, every child, even the neighbor's baby. I took a picture of their prepaid vacation voucher and texted Dad, canceling this now. 2 hours later he showed up breathless, knocking hard. I opened the door and said, I was raised to believe that family sticks together. No matter what. That blood meant loyalty and holidays were sacred. My parents drilled that into us from the time we could sit at the kids' table without falling off the chairs. So when they turned around and decided Ava and I didn't count anymore, something snapped in me that I don't think will ever fully go back. They didn't say it to my face. That would have required a level of honesty they're not comfortable with. Instead, I found out the way people find out they're being excluded these days. Accidentally and with digital proof. My cousin Lisa forwarded me a screenshot from the family group chat. She thought I was in it because I used to be and said something like, "Can you believe your mom's going full no kids this year?" I scrolled up through the forwarded chat. My mom's message was short. Christmas will be adults only this year. Too much chaos with kids. Let's keep it simple and peaceful. I read it twice. Then a third time. My name wasn't in the group. Neither was Ava's. Every adult sibling, every cousin, their spouses, even the two who live out of state and never show up. All of them were included. All of their kids were supposedly chaos. But funny enough, none of their kids got the boot. Just mine. I waited a day before texting my mom. Gave her space to walk it back or tell me it was all a misunderstanding. He didn't. Her reply came mid-morning like she'd been crafting it for hours. It's not personal, Cal. We just need a calmer Christmas this year. You and Ava are always welcome after the holidays. Maybe January once things settle down. Hope you understand. Love you. There was. Not personal. Except it was because it was just us. And that line, hope you understand, sat in my chest like a rock. What exactly was I supposed to understand? That my daughter, who still writes Santa letters and checks the sky for reindeer, was now a disruption to their peaceful holiday? I didn't answer. I didn't trust myself to. That night I opened Instagram. Just a mindless scroll while Ava was in the bath. The first photo that popped up was Lisa, her twins, and her husband in matching flannel, captioned, "Cabin Christmas Begins." The next one was from my brother's wife. A picture of their toddler knocking ornaments off a tree. Then I saw it, a long table set for dinner. 12 places. Red and gold decorations. Tiny stockings with names I knew. Even the neighbor's baby had one. But not Ava. They'd rented the cabin up north. The one we all used to cram into when I was a kid, even when it snowed so bad we had to park at the road and haul gifts in on sleds. My parents told me they weren't doing it this year. Said it was too expensive. Said maybe next year if everyone was up for it. That lie almost hurt more than the exclusion. I didn't sleep that night. I laid there listening to Ava breathe, curled up with her stuffed giraffe, and I realized something with full, bitter clarity. They didn't forget us. They removed us. I went over to their house early the next morning. The porch was still strung with lights like they wanted the world to think they were festive and generous. I used the spare key, the one they'd never bothered to take back, and let myself in. The place looked the same. Warm, quiet, fake. Then I saw the folder on the kitchen counter. One of those fancy leather-bound travel organizers. Inside was a printed itinerary. Spa treatments. Wine tastings. Holiday brunch with a private chef. Fully paid. 12 adults. All of them. Every single one. Except me. Except Ava. I didn't touch anything. Just took a picture of the first page and sent it to my dad. Canceling this now. That was all I said. I didn't follow up. Didn't wait for a response. I left, went home, made Ava pancakes and tried not to think about any of it. But I could feel something inside me settling. Not sadness. Not exactly. Something colder. 2 hours later there was pounding on my front door. Fast and hard like something urgent. I peeked out and saw my dad. Red-faced, holding his phone. He looked panicked. I opened the door and said. When I opened the door I didn't say anything at first. I just looked at him. My dad standing on the porch, pale and winded, gripping his phone like it was a lifeline. For a second neither of us moved. His eyes darted past me, probably expecting Ava to run up or for me to soften. I didn't. The first thing he said wasn't an apology. It wasn't even close. He asked, "You didn't actually cancel it, did you?" That one sentence told me everything I needed to know. Not a word about me. Not about Ava. Just the trip. The precious prepaid Christmas retreat. That suddenly meant more than family. I told him I hadn't canceled anything. Yet. But I could. I'd found the confirmation number, the resort contact, and the fine print that said cancellations within 48 hours were non-refundable unless due to an emergency or an act of God. I guess they never planned for me to be either. He started talking fast, tripping over himself. Said Mom just wanted a quiet year. Said she didn't mean to hurt anyone. Said it was supposed to be an adult reset, a one-time thing. He used every excuse except the truth. So I asked him plain as day, then why were everyone else's kids there? He didn't answer. He just froze like maybe silence would make it go away. I waited. He looked down. That was my answer. I told him I wasn't touching the booking. Let them have their perfect little grown-up Christmas. But I wasn't going to sit there pretending they didn't deliberately leave us out. They made a choice. Now they could live with it. He asked if he could see Ava. Said maybe for a few minutes. That was the moment I realized he wasn't there out of guilt. He was there to make sure things didn't spiral too far out of their control. So I told him no. Not now. Not after that. He looked at me like I just slapped him. I think it was the first time in my life he'd ever heard me say no to him like that. Then I shut the door. Fully. Quietly. No yelling, no drama, just finality. After that I went cold. It wasn't a decision I made overnight, but more like something that settled into me. I stopped answering calls. I left messages on read. When Mom texted a few days later acting like nothing happened, thinking of you both. Hope you had a nice Christmas. I deleted it without replying. The photo frame I'd bought for them, the one with Ava's picture from the pumpkin patch, I put in the hall closet. That was the last gift I ever wrapped for them. January turned into February. No one came by. I didn't reach out. The silence was strange at first. Uncomfortable, like breaking a habit. But then it started to feel good. No more walking on eggshells, no more pretending family meant something it didn't. By March, my brother messaged me asking if I was ready to talk. He said Mom was upset. Said Dad wasn't sleeping well. I didn't answer him either. For once, the quiet was mine. Then in late spring, Ava asked something that stopped me cold. We were driving home from school and she saw a billboard for a beach resort. Out of nowhere, she said, "Does Grandma still go on vacations without us?" I didn't know how to answer. I mumbled something about Grandma being busy. But she just stared out the window and said softly, "I think she forgot us." That night she drew a picture of our family. Me, her, and no one else. The space where her grandparents used to be was just empty sky. And that was when I started to realize the silence wasn't punishing them anymore. It was punishing her. At first I told myself I was protecting her. That's what every decision was about. Not me. Her. Ava didn't need people who could cut her out so casually. She didn't need grandparents who treated her like an inconvenience. She didn't need to see me trying to crawl back into a space we were deliberately shut out of. But after a while I started noticing things I couldn't ignore. It was little at first. The way she lingered by the mailbox when we checked it, like she was expecting something to show up that never did. She used to get cards from my mom with glitter and stickers and half a dozen hearts drawn in pink pen. There hadn't been one since Halloween. No birthday note. No Christmas card. No nothing. One afternoon I caught her standing in front of the fridge staring at a photo we still had up. A snapshot from last year's Easter brunch, Ava on my dad's shoulders, both of them laughing. I watched her quietly from the hallway as she touched the edge of the picture, then walked away without saying anything. She stopped asking about them altogether. And that was what really got me. It wasn't the silence that hurt, it was the way she accepted it. She started drawing people with no faces. Her once colorful stories turned into short, half-finished pages with empty houses and quiet towns. She said less. Smiled less. She'd come home from school and sit next to me on the couch but wouldn't say much about her day unless I asked twice. Then one night I walked into her room and found her organizing her books by stories where people don't leave. That was the night it finally clicked. I wasn't just protecting her anymore. I was punishing her too. She was caught in the middle of something she never asked to be part of. The anger in me hadn't gone anywhere, but now it had company, guilt. A few days later we were driving back from the grocery store. She was staring out the window watching two kids play in a sprinkler. I don't know what made her say it, but she asked me, "Do Grandma and Grandpa still live in the same house?" I told her yes. She just nodded and said, "I guess they don't want to see me anymore." I pulled over. Just like that. Parked in front of a gas station and looked at her. I told her it wasn't her fault. That none of it had anything to do with her. She nodded again. Quietly. That night she handed me a Mother's Day card early. A little construction paper thing she'd made at school. Inside, under the hearts and sparkles, she'd written, "I hope you don't feel lonely like I do sometimes." I read it twice before folding it back up and putting it in my nightstand. That card sat there for 3 days before I finally texted my mom. It wasn't warm. It wasn't sentimental. Just, "Ava is available Sunday 2 to 4 if you want to see her." No questions. No talk. Just time with her. "I'll stay in the car." The response came 5 minutes later. "Yes, absolutely. We miss her so much. Thank you." No mention of me. No apology. Just relief that the door cracked open. Sunday came. I dressed Ava in the cardigan my mom gave her last year, the last gift she ever got from them. She held my hand in the car the whole way there, didn't say much, just kept glancing out the window like she wasn't sure if this was real. I parked at the curb, didn't turn off the engine. Watched as my mom opened the door and knelt down like she'd never done anything wrong. Ava hugged her. Hesitantly at first, then tighter. I watched for 2 hours. Read the same 3 pages of my book over and over again. When Ava came back out, she had a stuffed rabbit and a Ziploc bag of cookies. She looked lighter. Not healed, but lighter. I drove us home without asking questions. I let her talk if she wanted, but she didn't. She just hummed to herself in the back seat, holding the rabbit like something soft had finally returned. Over the next couple weeks, the invites started. Can she come again this weekend? Would you like to join us next time? We'd love to have you both over. I didn't reply to any of it. Not at first. When I finally responded, it was clear. This is not a reunion. It's a visit. For her. But I could feel the shift. My family thought they were inching their way back into our lives. That a few cookies and soft smiles were going to smooth it all over. That I'd forget. What they didn't realize was that I had no interest in forgetting. I let them think they were getting away with it. Every Sunday, Ava came back from their house with new little tokens. Cookies in a container, glitter crafts, books that still smelled like the store. My mom was clearly trying to rebrand herself as the fun, whimsical grandma again. My dad had taken up calling Ava his sunshine. They were trying so hard to sweep everything under the rug, hoping I'd stop noticing the lump in the carpet. But I saw it. I saw everything. They were doing what they always did. Performing love when there was an audience, hoping the performance would override the memory of being cut out. And I let them. I smiled. I nodded. I said Ava would be back next Sunday. Then came the shift. It was early June, the kind of afternoon where the heat makes everything feel slow and disconnected. Ava came out of their house holding something, not a toy, not cookies, an envelope. I asked her what it was. She said, "Grandma said it's for you." But I peeked. "It's a trip." She said we're going somewhere fun. I opened it when we got home. Inside was a fully booked vacation itinerary to a Florida beach resort. Flights, hotel, kids' activities, breakfast vouchers. Everything prepaid. The reservation was for 3. My mother. My father. Ava. Not me. No email. No heads up. No adult conversation. They had booked flights for my 6-year-old daughter behind my back, like I was just a name on the emergency contact form at school. I read the itinerary 5 times. Checked the dates. The reservation was real. And close. That night I waited. I didn't say anything. I wanted to see how long it would take for them to come clean. They didn't. The next evening I got a text from my mom. We wanted to surprise Ava with a trip. It's just a little beach vacation. She's been doing so well, she deserves it. You're obviously welcome too. Obviously. Like they were just assuming I'd go along with it. Like they could dangle a few palm trees and sandcastles and I'd be so grateful I'd forget they once decided Ava wasn't worth a seat at the Christmas table. I waited 2 days before responding. Not because I needed time to think. Because I wanted them to sweat. Then I wrote back, "Of course. She'll go. Thank you for doing this for her." My mom's response came so fast it almost felt rehearsed. "Oh Qley, this means everything. We're so happy. Thank you for trusting us again. This is the start of something really beautiful." Sure. Beautiful. For 2 weeks I let them build the fantasy. They sent Ava coloring pages of dolphins. Told her about the big breakfast buffet and the pool with the waterfall. My mom started sending me packing list. My dad offered to pay for her sunscreen. Then the night before the flight I told Ava she wouldn't be going. She cried. She didn't yell. She didn't beg. She just sat on her bed and cried. And I hated every second of it. But I knew what I was doing. I told her the truth. That trips are not surprises. That when someone tries to take you without asking your mom, it's not love, it's manipulation. I showed her the envelope again. Asked her how she would have felt if I had done that to her. She didn't have the words, but she got it. And I saw something shift in her too, a sense that love could also mean boundaries. That protecting someone doesn't always look like softness. The next morning, while Ava and I were eating pancakes at a local diner, my parents were probably standing at an airport gate holding a boarding pass that would never be used. By noon they were at my door. Both of them. I didn't even flinch when I heard the knock. My dad started first, asking where Ava was. My mom tried the emotional angle, said she was heartbroken, that she just wanted to do something special. I let them talk. Then I asked them one question. At what point did you think you had the right to make decisions for my daughter again? They didn't answer. Not really. My mom got defensive. My dad tried to reason with me. Said I was overreacting. Said this could have been such a positive step. I told them the visits were done. No more Sundays. No more gifts. No more performances. I told them they don't get to play grandparents only when it fits their image of the family they want. They didn't argue after that. I closed the door and this time it felt final. What I didn't realize was that Ava had been sitting quietly on the stairs the whole time. Later that night while I was folding laundry she walked in and asked, "Will I ever see them again?" And that question, that one, stuck to me like nothing else had. Ava only asked once but it was enough to sit with me for weeks. "Will I ever see them again?" She said it so softly I almost convinced myself I'd imagined it but I hadn't. It stayed with me in all the quiet in-between moments, folding her clothes, packing her lunch, brushing her hair while she stared at the floor. It wasn't about missing two people who bought her gifts and let her eat too much sugar. It was about wanting to understand how love could disappear without warning. I told myself I was protecting her, but I was starting to wonder if I was also cutting her off from something she still believed in. I didn't want to be the mother who made her choose, so I texted my mom. "You can see Ava this Saturday. 2 hours. At our place. We'll be here. Don't bring anything. Just show up." The reply came in under 60 seconds. "We'd love that. Thank you, Qley." No pushing. No comments. But I could already hear the hope climbing back into their voices. Saturday arrived heavy. Ava had picked out the yellow dress my mom gave her last Easter, the one she hadn't worn since. She asked me if she should draw a picture for them. I told her she didn't have to. She drew one anyway. A sun, a big tree and 3 stick figures. She didn't label them but I knew. They arrived right on time. I made sure Ava opened the door. My parents stood there like they didn't know what to expect. Like they'd rehearsed this moment a dozen ways but still weren't ready for how real it was. My mom bent down slowly, arms open. Ava stepped forward after a second and that was it. No tears. Just that small, unsure moment where everyone pretended nothing had been broken. They sat in the living room while Ava talked about school and showed off a rock she'd found in the backyard that sparkled when it rains. My mom listened like it was the most important thing she'd ever heard. My dad nodded so much I thought his neck might lock up. I sat on the edge of it all, watching, measuring. 2 hours passed. They got up when I told them it was time. No argument. No dragging their feet. Just a quiet thank you and a see you next time. They didn't even ask when next time would be. They knew better. After the door closed, Ava came and sat next to me with a soft sigh, like something inside her had realigned. Like she'd plugged a wire back into the wall. And that's when I made the decision. They could see her. On my terms. With my rules. I wouldn't punish Ava for what they did. But I wouldn't forget either. And I wouldn't let them pretend this was a story of redemption. It wasn't. It was a transaction. A supervised return. One visit at a time. Over the next few weeks I gave them more rope. A trip to the park. A short lunch. An hour at the zoo with me trailing 5 steps behind. I let them pretend they were back in our lives, that the distance was closing. They didn't realize I was setting the boundary in stone with every visit. They were playing the long game, thinking if they behaved well enough, long enough, I'd let them all the way back in. They thought love, or guilt, would weaken my resolve. But they didn't realize something important. I had already rewritten the story. Ava could have her moments, her smiles, her cookies and zoo trips. But I was the gate. I saw them trying to soften me. My mom brought up Christmas in passing. Said how nice it would be to all be together again this year. My dad mentioned the beach, dropped it like a casual thought, said Ava would love the shells. I smiled and said, maybe. They saw hope. I saw control. They worked for it. Every visit, every carefully measured smile, every overly cautious question. It was all designed to prove they'd changed. That they'd learned. That they were back. I watched them play the long game like their invitation back into our lives was just a matter of time and consistency. They thought forgiveness was inevitable. They thought I was softening. They thought they were winning. By October my mom was already hinting at Christmas. She started leaving suggestions in her texts. Not outright invitations but casual drops. If Ava likes baking we should do cookies again this year. Like old times. We've already got stockings with everyone's names. Your brother's bringing his kids. It'd be so special if she was there too. I didn't reply to any of them. Not once. But I didn't shut them down either. That was the key. I let it hang there. Let them twist on the possibility. In November my dad tried a different angle. He asked if they could take Ava to see the holiday lights at the zoo. I said no. But then the next week I offered an afternoon at the community center tree lighting. With me. 1 hour. They were so grateful. So polite. So hopeful. They started leaning into it more. Slipping in lines like, it's nice having the family together again, and feels like old times, doesn't it? They'd glance at me after they said it, like they were waiting to see if I'd agree. I didn't. I just let them keep thinking we were building towards something. And then, the week before Thanksgiving, I told them what they wanted to hear. I sent my mom a message that simply said, "Ava and I will come for Christmas. Just us." Her reply came within seconds. He said she was crying, that she was overjoyed, that this was everything she'd hoped for. He called it a blessing. My dad texted separately saying, "Thank you, Qley. Truly. We can't wait to start fresh." And they meant it. They really believed it. They didn't know I was never planning to stay. Christmas Day came. I dressed Ava in the red dress they'd given her 2 years ago, the one they never saw her wear because that was the first year they started pulling away. She looked beautiful, nervous, but excited. We arrived right at noon. The house was full. Cousins, kids, stockings, laughter. The kind of holiday they tried to convince the world they'd always had. Everyone looked surprised when I showed up. I could see it in their faces, like they hadn't actually expected me to come through. My mom hugged Ava like she was coming back from war. My dad handed me a mug of cider and said how glad he was we were all together again. I smiled, said thank you, sat quietly. I stayed for exactly 2 hours. Just long enough for Ava to open her gifts, eat a little food and play a board game with her cousins. Then I stood up, took her hand and said, "Let's go." They froze. My mom asked, "You're leaving?" "But you're not staying for dinner." I looked at her and for the first time in over a year I answered plainly, "No, we're not staying." She stammered something about dessert, about tradition, about finally having everyone back. I didn't argue, didn't explain. I just leaned down and told Ava it was time. And we left. The truth is, I never intended to give them a full reunion. I just gave them enough to let Ava feel like she wasn't missing something. I gave them a taste, a single moment they could sit with, replay, cling to, but they never got all the way back in. They never will. Because now I know better. And Ava will grow up knowing that love doesn't mean giving people infinite chances to hurt you. She'll know that forgiveness isn't a door that swings wide open just because someone waits long enough. Me. I'll remember every gift they gave her this year. I'll remember the photo they took of all the grandkids in front of the tree. I'll remember how their faces looked when they thought this was their happy ending. And I'll remember that it wasn't theirs. It was mine.